Georgia is on a recruiting heater right now with 3 commitments in the past 24 hours. But of those 3 commits, the most intriguing prospect has to be offensive tackle Jahzare Jackson, who is a very different type of prospect. He's a guy who has not spent the past couple years playing high school football. Instead, he's a guy who spent the past couple years playing semi-pro basketball. But he is a 6'11", 330-pound behemoth of a human being who I believe is a generational athlete. And he's a guy that I think Georgia fans should be very excited about.
We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
What's up, guys? I'm Tyler, and this is Glory UGA Plus, where I bring you a small little sample of what we've got going on in the Glory UGA podcast. This video, as always, is brought to you by our wonderful friends at Alumni Hall. If you enjoyed today's content, if you like this video, make sure, guys, go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you can get all our content in the future loaded straight up to your YouTube feed. Like the video, comment, let me know what you guys think. But most importantly, if you enjoyed today's video, if you like this content, check out the Glory UGA podcast for a lot more content just like this. We'll carry this through the rest of the college football offseason and, of course, through the entirety of the 2024 football season. So, Jahzare Jackson, 6'11", 330 pounds, but a former semi-pro basketball player who is now a Georgia Bulldog, as in like right now, the guy today, yes, he went public with his commitment. He also went to class today. This guy is on campus going to classes. So he is officially a Georgia Bulldog. This is not a 2025 guy. This is a 2024 signing, a very late 2024 signing, about as late as you can get, but a 2024 signing. Nonetheless, he will be on Georgia's roster this coming season, as in like 2 months from now when the season kicks off, all right? So, What? What are we talking about here? There's a lot of layers to kind of understand what's happening here with this Jahzare Jackson commitment that went public today. So I think to really understand, first, why I'm so excited, and also why I think you guys, other Georgia fans, should be very excited as well, I think we need to rewind a little bit and go back, kind of review his background and where he's coming from, how we got to this point. So, like I said at the outset of the video, this is not a guy who has spent the past couple years playing high school football like your average incoming college football player. He has not. He has been playing semi-pro basketball. He's been playing the past couple years, playing high-level AAU basketball. I think he played on, I know he played on Bronny James' team. I think it was for a year, a couple years back. And most recently, he's been playing for Overtime Elite. And maybe you've never heard of Overtime Elite. Maybe it's something you've heard of, but you're like, I don't know what that is. And it's a long story. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here today going into what Overtime Elite is, but to make a long story very short here, it is basically a semi-pro basketball league that was kind of created almost as an alternative for these high-level high school basketball players. It's an alternative for them. Like, if you don't want to go to college, you can come play for Overtime Elite. And they actually pay guys. Again, semi-pro. So you have an option. My understanding is you have an option. You can take a contract, which will pay you, I think, a minimum of $100,000 with also signing bonuses. But if you want to preserve your collegiate eligibility, you can forego the payday and take a scholarship instead, right? They'll pay you to go to college eventually. Like, that's what they'll do. But my understanding is that Jahzare Jackson actually took the money. I don't have that like 100% authority, but that is my understanding, which is, I have had some questions from some listeners out there. Can he also play for the Georgia basketball team? My understanding is no, because he's considered a professional basketball player, which means you can come back and play another sport in college athletics. You just can't play the sport that you took money to play professionally or semi-professionally. So that's why he can come back and play college football, but he can't play college basketball. It's kind of like, if a high school player, as a big-time high school baseball player, goes pro in baseball at a high school but doesn't pan out, but he can come back, like I think Chris Winkie, right? That's the one that first comes to mind there for me. But you can come back and you play college football when you're like 26 years old because you weren't pro in football. But you can't play college baseball because you were pro in college baseball. So I think that's the situation that we're looking at here. But the bottom line is he's been playing high-level basketball. We're not talking about a rec basketball player, y'all. We're talking about a high-level basketball player. Overtime Elite has some very high-profile alums in recent years. Just in this year's past draft, like a couple of weeks ago, you have Rob Dillingham, who was at Kentucky, went number 8 overall. Alexander Sarr, one of the Frenchmen, went number 2 overall. And you go back, I think last year, the Thompson twins, I don't think they were top 10 guys. I think one of them was, but at least lottery picks. All of those guys are overtime elite alums. So again, he's playing high-level basketball. He is a legit basketball player, but clearly he has seen more of a long-term future for himself playing football. Because, I mean, guys, all I have to do is look in the mirror. It's very clear he has the physical traits to be a future first-round draft pick at the offensive tackle position. I think a future franchise left tackle. And you guys know, if you're that type of player at that position, you know the premium that is put on left tackles in the NFL. So this guy feasibly could make hundreds of millions of dollars playing left tackle in the NFL in the future. Now, the catch to all of this, all right? The catch to all of this is that he hasn't played football at all since 9th grade. All right. And he's now 20 years old. So it's been about 4 or 5 years since this guy has played a down of football. So he's not like brand new to the sport, but it's been a minute since he has played college football or played football at all. So what we have in our hands here is a classic high risk, high reward scenario where the potential, in my opinion, and clearly in Kirby Smart's opinion, the potential reward is just too high to pass up. It's so high that you are willing to take what I believe is a relatively minor risk to take this guy. It's like, what is the risk here? All right. So you take the guy, and if he doesn't pan out, if he's a bust, then okay, so like you waste a scholarship. I mean, I know scholarships can be precious, but you got 85 of those right now. And with that potential reward, what this guy could develop into with all of his immense physical abilities, physical traits, that's absolutely 1,000% a risk that you are willing to take, because the reward just merits it. It absolutely does. So this is a decision. He made the decision a couple months ago to decide, I'm going to go the football route. I'm going to go college football, find a place where I can develop, and then hopefully find myself in the NFL, become a first-round draft pick, and make a lot of money, make millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars probably in the NFL. So he has spent the past month or so with a personal offensive line coach. Like, he's got some money, right, playing semi-pro basketball, so he's hired a personal offensive line coach to help him get ready, and that's what he's been doing. But now he is here in Athens. He'll be going through workouts. He'll be here for fall camp, and we'll see what happens, man. Like, we'll see what happens. I cannot guarantee you. That's the thing with this guy. I'm fascinated by the physical tools. Again, I think generational type athlete. I'll stand by that. I believe that. So I'm fascinated by the tools. But at the same time, I can't guarantee you anything. I cannot sit here with a straight face and guarantee you that he will eventually reach his, what I believe is elite potential. I can't guarantee you that. But what I can tell you is I think he has the elite physical tools to get there. He has those tools. And that's a great starting point, right? I mean, certainly, I will admit, there is a lot of boom bust potential here. It's either going to work out in a big way or it's going to flop, right? I don't know if there's a middle ground with this guy. So we'll see what happens. But again, I can't guarantee you he's going to end up being a first-round draft pick. All I can tell you right now, all I know for sure, is that his physical traits are off the freaking charts, all right? You just do not find physical specimens like this guy. You don't. I mean, these guys just don't exist. This is an alien. This is alien type stuff. We're talking 6'11", 330 pounds, moving like you've seen him move here on this video. That's insane. That's insane. Those guys, they're not real. It's like fantasy land that this guy can do what he does at that size. Now, you can find 6'11 guys, but you don't find guys that are 6'11", 330 that move like this. You can find 330 pounders, but not with that size, 7'4" wingspan and that athleticism to go along with it. So it remains to be seen if he will develop into a generational player, but he absolutely has, at the very least, all the tools that make him a generational athlete, all right? Again, I don't use that term lightly, but guys like this just don't exist. You do not find guys like this. Like, yeah, I think once in a generation, they come along. So risk reward, there is certainly some risk there, but you absolutely have to take that risk with that potential reward. And look, given our propensity in recent years for churning out elite offensive linemen, first rounders in the NFL draft at that position, I say that there's a better chance than not that Jahzare Jackson cashes in on that immense potential. Again, can't guarantee you, but man, it is going to be fascinating to watch. And we might have one ridiculous player in our hands that is going to not only be a superstar for Georgia, potentially, but potentially a future first-round draft pick in the NFL. But all right, guys, that's all I got for today. I'm Tyler. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this video, like, comment, let me know what you guys think, and keep coming back for more. We'll have more content for you guys later this week. But as always, go Dogs.
Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight. 26-21. Dogs on top.